Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you all the games that I spent money on in November. Spoilers, it's a lot, so be prepared for a long video, and I apologise profusely. To kick things off, we're going to go store by store about where I bought these. So to kick things off, we're going to talk about the sex shop where I bought some of these. Now I know what you're thinking, the sex store sells video games? And it's not the one you're thinking of, whichever one you frequent. It's spelled CEX, it's a shop in Australia. The first game that I bought actually is the Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition. This comes with all of the DLC, so Hearts of Stone, Blood of Wine, 16 DLC pieces in total. You can see it is a pre-owned copy. Obviously there's a sticker there, so there's a bit of markings on there, which, you know, I tried to get rid of, but sometimes those stickers are a little bit stubborn. And then we have the disc there, which is definitely marked with the Game of the Year edition, and the back cover, which shows you the main two big story DLCs that have there, plus, you know, talking about all the other DLC that we have on there. If you're not familiar with The Witcher 3, obviously made by CD Projekt Red, who have famously delayed Cyberpunk for what seems like forever. I paid $28 for this, which is interesting because I was at EB Games literally a minute before and I saw it for $48. Didn't want to pay $48, so when I saw it for $28, I immediately bought it. We're going to put a counter on the screen about how much I've spent, so we'll put $28 up in the corner. Moving on, the next game we have is The Last of Us Remastered. Obviously not The Last of Us 2, I do have that already. Haven't finished it yet, but I will eventually go back to it. Anyway, The Last of Us Remastered, fantastic game that came out on the PS3. Obviously they released a PS4 version of it. I got this for $12, so I figured it was worth picking up for $12. You don't get a lot for that there. In pretty good nick, actually, for being a pre-owned game. You can see the back cover there. Moving right along from The Last of Us, the third game I got was the Bioshock Collection for PS4. So this is a collection of, you know, Bioshock 1 and 2 and Bioshock Infinite as well, all re-released for the PS4, so you can play them in one collection. It does come with 2 discs. I actually paid $28 for this, and I thought $28 for 3 games is a pretty good deal. I'll give you guys a bit of a look at the individual packaging here. You can see it's Bioshock Collection, so it's not Bioshock 1 and 2, but it does say like disc 1 in the bottom hand corner there is Bioshock and Bioshock 2, and then disc 2 is Bioshock Infinite. Again, they have identical back covers, and they have the not to be sold separately. If you guys want to see the disc or inside, yeah, it's pretty much new, I would say. Like, these, it is pre-owned. I bought it as pre-owned condition. Okay, this one doesn't have anything in it, but yeah, you'll see that the condition of these guys is pretty much new. I wonder if that person actually played it or not. Now we're moving into some fun stuffs. I've got some PS2 games actually for pretty cheap, which I'm pretty happy with. They're not the best of games though. The first one is Mercury Meltdown Remix. It is some sort of puzzle game, as you can see there, where you roll a ball through mazes. It was $5. 5 of my hard-earned dollars. You may be thinking it was me wasting $5. I like to think of it as me gaining Mercury Meltdown Remix. The next game is also for the PS2, and it is Crazy Chicken. If you're not familiar with Crazy Chicken, this game is probably one of the worst games ever made. It cost me $5. I want to read you a review that I found online for Crazy Chicken, which I thought sums up the game pretty well. This was posted to the GameSpot website. It's posted by the username Gummy Joe. Now, it's a little old, but it's still worth a read. It says, "When I picked up the game, I thought it would be several levels of chicken shooting fun, but there is one level worth 90 seconds of play. Shoot as many things as you can in 1.5 minutes. The only sound you have is a short score at the start of the level, and chickens screaming. There is only 2 mini games, Snail Push, shooting a snail to get it to an apple, and Pontoon. That is also boring. The graphics are worse than Super Mario Brothers, and the game ain't worth a pinch of shit. Don't look at this disgrace of a game for the love of your mother. Well, I guess Gummy Joe, I don't love my mother enough because I did buy Crazy Chicken for the PS2, which, I mean, admittedly, I'm probably never going to play unless you guys want me to on the channel and we can actually see the chicken shooting fun of Crazy Chicken. I don't know if the chickens have gone crazy and that's why we're shooting them, but it cost me another $5 to pick this game up. Moving right along now to another PS2 game, we have Arthur and the Invisibles. This was made by Atari back in the day. I paid $4 for this, which is the main reason why I bought it, to be perfectly honest. You don't get a lot for $4 nowadays, but you can actually see that it's in pretty good nick, and I just figured that whilst I was there, and this game was there, and I had $4 to spend, I figured, why not pick it up? So that's how we ended up with Arthur and the Invisibles. Next game would be a popular one, I think, from the PS2 area, which was Goldeneye, Rogue Agent. This was again another $4 special that they had for PS2 games. I definitely recommend you check out this store. They have an online store in multiple locations across the country as well. Sometimes they have pretty good deals on some retro stuff. You can see here the booklet and the disc both in pretty good nick. And then you've got the back cover there. I've actually never played this game. Obviously made by EA Games. You know, think of what you want about the company, but they did make some okay games back in the day. Not sure if this is one of them. The last of the PS2 games that I have for you today, which is Conflict Desert Storm 2 Back to Baghdad. This game was $2.50. So even if I never play it, it cost $2.50. I spent $2.50 on, you know, stuff that isn't video games before, so I'm pretty sure I can afford it. But $2.50 for this game, you can see, yeah, as I said, manual's in pretty good condition, disc is in pretty good condition. There's the back cover, seems like a pretty generic shooter from back in the day. I'm sure it's terrible. I really know nothing about this game, but I look forward to learning some more about it. Picking up some PS3 titles as we go. I'll move through these pretty quickly because some of them are, you know, stock standard, like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. I did pick this up because I don't know what happened to my copy, and it was $3. Obviously, the campaign has been re-released on the PS4 for everyone to play. But Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare for $3. Yeah, as again, pretty good nick for something that costs $3. So why not pick it up? Next is a bit of an interesting game. It's not something I really plan to play, to be perfectly honest, but I wanted to pick it up because it was actually a fairly good price for what I've seen it go for online. That is Leisure Suit Larry Box Office Bust for the PS3. So I paid $15 for this one there. I have seen it online go for $40 or somewhere around that price, unless I just saw it for really expensive. But I thought for $15, the game is in pretty good nick. Now the back cover isn't. There's all this spillage and that kind of stuff. I don't know exactly what they've spilled on it, but luckily the spill is actually not on the paper, it's just on the plastic, which means that I can change the case for this game and have a pretty good condition Leisure Suit Larry in my collection. And the last of my PS3 games, and the last thing that I bought at the sex shop, is Ratchet Clank Tools of Destruction for the PS3. It's Ratchet Clank, pretty classic series of games. Obviously there's a new one coming to the PS5 next year, which I'm very excited about, and I'll probably play maybe on the channel actually as well. But I paid another $15 for this one there. It is in pretty good nick as everything else is. Book's in decent condition, disc is in decent condition, and then you can see the back cover. Some of these are actually from the UK, so you'll see the PEGI rating instead of the PAL rate. The rating that we have in Australia, which is why some of the back covers will have multiple languages on it. Moving into what I've purchased this month from EB Games. Firstly, for PS4 is the Hitman Steelbook Edition, the complete first season. You don't see this really on the shelves much anymore, so I figured it'd be a good thing to pick up. You can see the Steelbook there. It's actually quite nice with Agent 47 on the front. You get the full Season 1 content as well from Hitman. and I think just a really nice piece to have in my collection. For Hitman, I paid $54, so a little bit more expensive for this there. You can call it EB Games tax, or you can call it the fact that this game isn't really new on shelves anymore. Either way, they have $54 of mine. The next thing that I did buy, actually in the same store, it was in Wollongong's store, is the Dark Souls 3 Apocalypse Edition. So again, another Steelbook. I'm a sucker for Steelbooks. I really do like them, so when I do see them that's been traded in for cheaper than what they originally cost, I do try and pick it up. The Dark Souls one's quite nice. I'm not too into the Souls games themselves. I mean, I do need to give them probably another go now that Demon Souls is on the PS5 and looking gorgeous, mind you. So maybe I'll give that another go down the line. But for this stage, yeah, Dark Souls 3, and I paid $44 for that. The next thing I have from EB Games is the Dark Pictures Anthology. This is a collection of Men of Medan and Little Hope, which is the new game that came out. I played Little Hope, we played it through with a couple of friends, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the characters, I really liked the story. It's a lot more psychological this time. If you haven't played this series of games, I do recommend them. I am going to do a playthrough of Men of Medan soon, to be able to, I guess, experience the other games in this series. But this is just the first two. There is a third game coming next year, and I imagine that they'll release another collection with all three of them, which inevitably I will buy. And the last thing that I've bought from EB Games this month is for the PS5, of course, and that is SpiderMan Miles Morales. Interestingly, I have 100% of this game already. I finished it within the first 40 hours, of the first weekend of it coming out. I gotta say, I really enjoyed this game. Obviously, I was a big fan of Spider-Man on the PS4, and this just was more of the same. It was more of the same feeling. It was a coming-of-age story for Miles. It was done really well. It wasn't, obviously, the full-length game that you would got with Spider-Man, but I feel like it was enough to be able to, I guess, give us what we wanted from the Spider-Man game that features Miles Morales. The disc is quite nice. I will say that the PS4 discs, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was hoping for something a little bit different than just changing the color at the bottom to the white and having the PS5 logo on it. But you know what? It's not a big deal. It does have a really nice reversible cover, I guess, or artwork in the middle that I particularly enjoy for this game there. So if you want, you can spin it around and have something that's, I think, really nice. So Spider-Man Miles Morales, I definitely highly recommend this game. If you haven't played it already, or you're getting a PS5 and want something to play Spider-Man. That's it for the EB Games thing. I will say, oh sorry, I did forget to mention the prices. Little Hope and the Man of Medan, the Dark Pictures Anthology, cost me $79. And Marvel Spider-Man cost me $94. Getting that on release day from EB Games, you always pay a little bit more, don't you? Now I'll be actually going through some of the games that I've picked up on eBay this month. And this is some things that I've won at auction or buy it now prices. And sometimes it's me just adding a bunch of stuff to cart and hitting checkout, which, you know, can happen. The first game is, I'm currently building my Pokemon collection, so you'll see a couple of Pokemon games in this eBay lot here, but Pokemon Black 2 for the DS. I have Black 1, but I do not have Black 2, so now I do have that there. Pretty standard Pokemon game, obviously Generation 5. Now Pokemon games, if you haven't really been keeping up, they're really expensive at the moment. I paid $143.95 for this, basically $144 for Pokemon Black 2. Now, did I overpay? Maybe. But at the same token, their prices and their value are really holding at the moment. So I was comfortable with paying it at the time. The next game I've got is Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PS Vita. I did actually own this digitally, but I wanted the physical copy, which means that they have $36.95 of my dollars, so that I could just get this little case with Uncharted in it. Money well spent? Not sure, but it happened. As I said, I did get some Pokemon games, so the next one you'll see is Pokemon Moon Fan Edition. Now, what actually happened with this game is I bought it thinking it was the Pokemon Ultra Moon Fan Edition because I already owned the Pokemon Moon Fan Edition. So now I have 2 of these there, and they have 83 of my dollars for it. So what I'm going to do with the second one, I don't really know. I'm not going to open this one though on the camera. There is a lot of sticky tape on the top, which I haven't cut, so apologies for that. That's Pokemon Moon Fan Edition. If you haven't played it, it's okay. Then we've got some 3DS games. Next one is Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. For the 3DS, I don't have the biggest 3DS collection at the moment, and that's why I'm buying a few games for it. While the prices are relatively okay, I feel like some of the more popular games or the best games on the platform are going to go up in the next few years as the 3DS has stopped production. But I paid $36 for this game there. Again, in pretty good nick. I like the carts in good nick, and that the packaging is pretty much as you would expect. Almost brand new. Then we have I think the last Pokemon game on the list, and that is Pokemon X. I do need to clean this cover a little bit, so my apologies. Pokemon X is, it's a decent game. I have Y, but I didn't have X, so I figured I would pick that up, and I paid $35.95 for that. The next 2 games I'll do pretty quickly, and I'll actually do side by side, is Bravely Default and Bravely Second. There is a new Bravely Default game coming out on the Switch early next year. I really liked the fact that developers were able to release a demo and listen to feedback from people that played the demo, and they've implemented a bunch of changes. They did a video on it and what they're changing based on the feedback. I really love when developers do that, so it's really nice to see the passion from some people at Square Enix that are able to do that. But with the new game coming out, I figured it'd be pretty timing to pick these up. For Bravely Default, I paid $44.95, and for Bravely Second, I paid $44.50. So, pretty much on the money. This one's still sealed, but it's sealed JB, so I do think it's pre-owned. But I will open it and check at a later date. And last 3DS games that I have, and I apologise, it's a Pokemon one, I completely forgot. And that is, it's not the last 3DS game either. I have Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. This was just something that I didn't have in my collection, saw it for sale, and thought I'd pick it up. I think I got a decent price for it, because I do see these go for a little bit at times. I paid $33.30. I believe I won the auction for it. I was expecting it to go nearly $50, so I was pretty happy with that price. Keeping on with the eBay games, we've got Homefront Revolution for the Xbox One. To be honest, the only reason that I bought this game is that it was $7.30. And I thought it was a pretty good deal. I am sort of slowly building my Xbox collection. I didn't actually have an Xbox One for quite a long time. I just had the PS4, and I actually only got the Xbox One with the Cyberpunk edition. A bit of a wildcard pick, which is Brothers in Arms D-Day for the PSP. This game is one of Gearbox's really early games, actually, and I picked it up for that reason. I actually haven't played it, but big fan of the Borderlands series. Borderlands 3 is amazing, apart from the story, but everything else in that game is fantastic. It was $14.08 to pick up, still sealed, so not a bad price for getting something that is actually sealed. The next game is also sealed, but it is Nier Automata Game of the Year Edition. This game is fantastic if you haven't played it. They're sort of revamping the old ones. Something new's coming next year in the Nier series anyway. I paid $34.99 for it, still sealed, which I thought was a pretty good deal for a brand new PS4 game. So definitely picked that one up there. Then we have Fear 2 for the Xbox 360. I don't know why I bought this. I think it was because it was $11 and I was buying a bunch of stuff from the same seller, and I just added it to cart, and we ended up with Fear 2 for the 360. It is a little bit damaged in the booklet, and the disc is in pretty good nick. You know, it's it's whatever. It's Xbox 360 game, $11. Why not? Now, the next game I mainly bought because of Scott the Woz and how much he absolutely hates this game. So I needed to pick it up, and that is Chibi, Robo, Ziplash for the 3DS. My copy is still sealed, and I think it will stay that way because I don't really ever plan to play this game. It was $15.50, so, you know, it's Chibi, Robo, Ziplash, one of the most disappointing games in a franchise that pretty much killed it ever made, really. And if you want to know more about that, I'll link Scott the Woz's video down there. It's a fantastic laugh, where he basically just really, really hates this game for, you know, I don't know how long that video was, but it was a while. But it's definitely worth a watch. I recommend you check it out. The next game on the list is another game that I already own and forgot that I'd purchased it, and that is YS Origins for the Nintendo Switch. I got it for $40.90, which is not a bad deal, but at the same token, it's a bad deal if you already own the game, like I do. Then we have a game that I've pretty much bought on every system that it's come out for, and that is Final Fantasy X and X-2 for the Switch. I don't really like how they have these on the older Switch games where they're like download required. Like, we know, you've just ruined the box art for it. There is a reversible cover on this if you do like Final Fantasy. You get a nice little Yuna and Titus on the side there. And it's a classic game from the PS2 era. If you haven't played it, what have you been doing with your life? I recommend it to anyone that wants to play a JRPG that moves at a decent pace while still, you know, being able to stop you every 3 seconds for a random battle. Keeping with the Final Fantasy theme, we have Final Fantasy XII for the DS. This is not actually a game that I've played. I have played Final Fantasy XII. I missed the pricing for the Final Fantasy X. For Final Fantasy X, I paid $40.65. And for Final Fantasy XII DS, I paid $45, which is crazy when you think that I've paid more for a Nintendo DS game than I have for a Switch game, but here we are. It is actually still sealed. I didn't know it was sealed when I bought it, but I was pretty happy with that. I do like collecting some new games every now and again, as you'll see with the next ones coming up. I've been able to pick up the Oddworld games. There's 2 of them that have actually come out. So we have Oddworld New and Tasty limited edition version, and we have Oddworld Munch's Odyssey that has also come out on the Switch. These were actually fairly difficult to find limited edition versions of these games for a decent price, actually, as well. I did find a few that were hovering almost around $100 for it on the internet, but there was this one seller on eBay was actually from the UK, so I had to get it shipped over here, who was selling these. The New and Tasty was $49.08, and Munch's Odyssey was $54.54. Of course, these are games that have already come out in the series, with a new one coming next year, but they're really nice to have, and I really like the extra packaging and the extra attention to detail that they've been able to put. And to be honest, I bought the limited edition versions for what people would normally pay the regular versions. So it was a pretty good find. They did have a few in stock. I will link it in the description if you're interested in picking one up, because I do think that it was a pretty good deal. Obviously, they're the UK versions. As I said before, some of these games are, so you will see that it has, you know, the other languages on the back. Not a big deal for me personally. If it is for you, you can find some Australian stock, but be prepared to pay extra for it. Now that wraps up all the eBay games that I've bought. There's only a few more to go, guys. I apologise, this has been a long video. But these are the games that I've bought off Amazon. And the first one is Sacboy for the PS5, which I'm currently playing. I'm in World 2. I was planning to put it on the channel. I recorded the first part and the audio didn't save properly, so I'll probably have to redo that one and upload it. But so far, I gotta say, this game has been very charming. I've really, really enjoyed it. It is a bit of a kid's platformer, but at the same time, they've done it really well. Like, the attention to detail, the setting, they use licensed music in one of the stages, and what you're doing in the stage actually goes along with the beat of the music. Even though I don't like that song, it's nice to see something like that happen in the video game space. I really like this game so far. I'm definitely going to play it all the way through, and can recommend it if you've got a PS5 and looking for something to play until Cyberpunk comes out, which I'm sure we're all waiting for. Then I recommend you get this game. I paid $89 for Sacboy from Amazon, which is a decent deal. Another thing from Amazon is the NBA 2K21 for the PS5, just the normal edition. I wasn't going to get the $150 version of NBA. I'm not the biggest NBA fan, but I do appreciate the sport as a whole, and obviously the games that come out. I don't buy it every year. So far, it's been okay. I think it's a lot of fun. I feel when you're playing your game, it's a bit buggy, as it is every year, I guess. There's a few other things with it, but on the whole, so far, it's been okay. You can sort of see it there. Sorry, that code's been redeemed, by the way, so you can't redeem it if you were thinking, I'll steal this code. But if I haven't redeemed it, fair play to you. You can have it. Then we got a couple of Switch games. Well, actually just one Switch game to go through from Amazon, and that is Ni no Kuni for the Switch, Wrath of the White Witch. Oh, sorry, NBA, I paid $88. I need to remember that. $88 for NBA, and I paid $55.97 for Ni no Kuni on the Switch. And the last game, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to talk about today, I took a trip to the Gamesman earlier in the month, and I saw this there, and I thought, why not? So $16 for the Marvel trading card game for the PSP. I do like collecting for the PSP. It's a fantastic system. It was my favourite handheld growing up. Actually, with the PSP, I remember a bit of a detour of a story, but why not? The first PSP I owned was when someone returned from Japan at school, and I bought it off him because it wasn't out in Australia yet, and I really, really wanted it. So I paid way more than what it was worth, but in the end, worth it because I absolutely loved the PSP. And I just love picking up games from when I see them in person. I won't order too many online. I'll sort of take a trip and see what people have traded in. You can generally pick some stuff up for pretty cheap for the PSP, so it's a pretty decent game to get. Now, as you guys can see in the top right hand corner, the total amount of money that I've spent this month on video games, and this is not including the PS5 console that I've bought as well. We're excluding that because it's hardware. We're just talking video games here. I spent $1,413.32 over November, which means it gives me pretty much a rating of I have a problem. Yes, when you walk into a store and see one of the worst games ever made that you won't play and think, well, it's $5, I really should be adding Crazy Chicken to my collection, you officially have a problem. To all the other owners of Crazy Chicken who clearly have the same problem as I do, the only question I have is, where can I get help? I hope you've enjoyed the November pickups video, guys. December is going to be a much lighter month, even though EB Games is having a Christmas sale. I probably will pick up a few things, and there's a few PS5 games we're going to pick up. We have a Cyberpunk 2077. I do have the limited edition, collector's edition, on pre-order, so I'll do an unboxing for that as well to show you guys. So there will be a couple of things happening in December, but expect it to be a much lighter month. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.